and slow. Here we go. Oh, here we go. Position 3, no 4. Oh, this is amazing! The wind in my teaching! Stop! No! Oh gosh! Oh God! Oh no!
Hello viewers, welcome to part 4 of the Mind Control Tactics series, where I will cover the 3 strategies you can use to defend yourself against mind control. Thanks for tuning in to today's session, and I also want to take a second to thank my current subscribers for your support. Thanks guys. Our survivor family is growing, and that pushes me to keep making videos. The video on role-playing will be up later this week. If you are new to this channel, I encourage you to subscribe if you are serious about understanding narcissism, recovering from the abuse, and developing an immunity to it. I post videos every week, and if you click on the bell, you'll get notified as soon as I publish them. Okay, so now let's dive right in. The first strategy comes from the knowledge or awareness that people who are heavily engaged in mind control are wired differently. They have no conscience and no regard for others. There is no humanity in them. They see people as objects or tools to serve their needs and get them what they want. They will not think twice to hurt, defile, degrade, humiliate, or dehumanize others if it benefits them. They are consumed by their own basic instincts and simply does not have the ability to care about how others feel. In other words, we need to see these individuals, including narcissists, as though they are agents of covert intelligence services, programmed to push forward their leaders or their own agenda, no matter the circumstance. The cult mentality can be very dangerous. This cult mentality can be very dangerous because the followers will do anything at all to preserve the cult's corrupt ideology. George Farquhar from jacobsm.com wrote an article on Neuro-ElectroMagnetic frequency mind control weapons. Here he writes, "Protection from frequency or psychotronic weapons is not an easy task. This is particularly so because the vast array of symptoms that are caused by attacks from these weapons duplicate symptoms that can be created by other natural non-malicious sources. The mainstream understanding within society are presently unaware of the use of these weapons on innocent civilians. They will therefore be unable to discern whether or not any negative symptoms experienced have been created by natural non-malicious sources or by the malicious intent of the mind control police within the Freemasonic secret society brotherhood-controlled intelligence services." So while this article refers to covert mind control by the secret society, the behaviors of these agents bear a great resemblance to that of narcissists, as you will see shortly. So back to the article. It is very important to understand the mental attitude of the perpetrators of these psychotronic attacks, who are employed directly or indirectly by the intelligence agencies. Being totally devoid of any humanistic qualities whatsoever, they have no conscience, no morals, no ethics, and are severely mentally imbalanced. They have deep subconscious fears and are devoid of courage, as they cannot face themselves. These fears are masked by the desire to control and torture others. by having no understanding whatsoever of who they truly are and their immense capabilities as a human being. They derive an illusory sense of power by doing what they do. The more physical, emotional, and mental pain they create in their targets through harassment, torture, rape, and manipulation, the more powerful and important they feel they are. They derive pleasure and power from inflicting pain and creating fear in their unsuspecting victims who cannot fight back. They also foolishly believe that they are immune from being detected, exposed, and brought to justice, which gives them a false sense of security. In reality, it is only a matter of time before they will eventually realize that they are security by being protected by their Brotherhood-run security agencies, whom they work for, was just an illusion. They will all eventually be exposed to the masses and will be held accountable by the people. As you can see, these individuals are almost like a completely different species, separate from the human race. They do not have the innate ability to relate and connect to another person on a deeper level, the ability that defines the humankind. They live for power and control and aim to acquire as much of it as they possibly can. They are very entitled and truly believe that they can get away with abusing people, breaking them, and dismantling their minds. Recognizing this changes how we interact with them physically and emotionally, and how we look at the relationship with the narcissist or brainwasher. We start to become cold and mechanical or superficial when we are dealing with these people, no longer offering them our humanity, no longer bonding with them. We learn to speak their language and treat them as they deserve. We learn to mirror their malicious, cunning nature by being brutally ruthless to them. Cut them the way they abused you and make them feel threatened or in danger. Toy with them, fuck with their mind. Show them in the way they would understand that you see through them, that you know they are your enemy, that you don't have any regard for them, and that you will not stand for being mistreated. In other words, show them that you are not good supply. We can do this easily when we finally understand their true nature, their empty hearts, and their primitive mindset. Looking back at the article, George writes, "The more we can reduce the fear response, in whatever way possible, to the harassment, torture, and rape methods of the mind control police within the intelligence services, the less power they will have over us, individually and therefore on society as a whole." Having a no-fear attitude towards the mind control perpetrators and their cowardly tactics has a great bearing on breaking the power of their manipulation and control. This method of protection has been well proven by a number of people with substantial experience of psychotronic attacks. Before we continue, I want to talk briefly about the mind control frequency weapons. You might not believe this to be true, but I believe it is being used in society today because I myself have experienced the remote energy violation and harassment by some covert individuals. I can feel their presence through closed doors, from a distance, and even through the walls. It is a bit supernatural, almost like an astral projection, where their spirit or energy jumps out of their body to invade my physical and energetic boundaries. I call it energy raping. I want to take a second here to invite you to comment below if you have experienced or seen any bizarre incidents involving a narcissist. Please share your stories if you feel comfortable to. And if you haven't experienced this phenomenon, then you can look at frequency weapons as the narcissist's verbal or well-hidden abuse, such as their elaborate schemes, subtle suggestions aimed to diminish, ridicule, or make you doubt yourself, intentional neglect, gaslighting, pathological lying, and other invisible attacks that are difficult to pinpoint. So back to the article. As frequency weapons are extremely high-tech, it may be quite difficult to reduce any physical pain inflicted by a remote psychotronic attack. However, it is certainly possible to reduce the fear aspect, thereby reducing any emotional and mental trauma. Fear can also be reduced to a great degree by fully understanding the agenda of our Brotherhood-controlled social structure, as well as the mental attitude of the mind control police frequency weapon perpetrators within the intelligence services. Also, to know wholeheartedly that one day this atrocity of human rights abuse will stop, and that every survivor who has ever endured psychotronic attacks will be free to live a normal life. In time, the perpetrators will be challenged by the self-empowered masses of society to such a degree that all of their systems of manipulation and destruction will ultimately collapse, and they will undoubtedly be brought to justice, not by the Freemasonic secret society run justice system, but by the people themselves. Self-empowerment is also paramount to our freedom from mind control. There are countless ways of self-empowerment, and only the individual can find the right way for themselves. A self-empowered person does not expect anyone to tackle any problem or fight any fight for them, yet genuinely and unconditionally helps others with theirs. Unlike anyone within the Brotherhood network, a self-empowered person does not take any energy, whether it be physical, emotional, or mental, from any other person, unless it is freely given. A self-empowered person does not, within their means and capabilities, allow another person to take their energy from them, unless it is freely given. Self-empowerment is a continuous and never-ending process, and should be widely encouraged by those who seek its powerful and wonderful qualities. More and more people around the world are now standing in their own power and becoming free. Eventually, when the human race has reached critical mass of becoming self-empowered, those who wish to manipulate and control us with all their means will be left behind, as they will have no one else to control. Then and only then will the people of the world become free. The responsibility starts with each and every one of us. We also need to omit any social norms and reciprocity whenever we interact with a narcissist. Remind yourself that social cues do not apply to them. Know that they will make use of it to torment you and put you down. Don't let your guard down once you know that someone is trying to brainwash you, or once you've been abused by the person before for doing so. In relation to this, I want to share an article by Jason Love from ultraculture.org on neuro-linguistic programming. Neuro-linguistic programming is a method for controlling people's minds.